Hello and welcome. Adult foster care homes are approved by the division to serve at least one program type. Aged Alzheimer's, developmentally disabled, mentally impaired, physically handicapped, and traumatically brain injured are some of the program types available in adult foster care homes. When admitting new residents into a facility, licensees are responsible for ensuring that the kinds of services required to meet the resident's needs are available in the facility, as well as ensuring the resident is compatible with other residents. In this video, we will discuss understanding the developmentally disabled population. We will define developmental disabilities, the caregiver's role, empowering residents, communication cues, and discuss some activity suggestions to engage and enhance a resident's sense of self. Join us as we learn more about this topic. What is a developmental disability? The Developmental Disabilities Assistance and Bill of Rights Act of 2000 defines a developmental disability as a severe chronic disability of an individual that is attributable to a mental or physical impairment or combination of mental and physical impairments. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention defines developmental disabilities as a group of conditions due to an impairment in physical, learning, language, or behavior areas. These conditions begin during the developmental period, may impact day-to-day functioning, and usually last throughout a person's lifetime. A person is determined to have a developmental disability if at least one of the two following conditions exists. An intellectual disability. This refers to significantly sub-average intellectual functioning with concurrently deficits in adaptive behavior manifested before the age of 18 years. Significantly sub-average is defined as an IQ of 70 or below on standard measures of intelligence. A related condition. This is a severe, chronic disability that meets all of the following conditions. It is attributable to cerebral palsy or epilepsy or any other condition, other than mental illness, found to be closely related to an intellectual disability, because this condition results in an impairment of general intellectual functioning or adaptive behavior, similar to that of persons with intellectual disability, and requires treatment or services similar to those required for these persons. It occurs before the individual reaches age 22. It is likely to continue indefinitely. It results in substantial limitations in 3 or more of the following areas of major life activity: self-care, language, learning, mobility, and self-direction. Intellectual disabilities are the most common of the developmental disabilities, but not everyone with a developmental disability has an intellectual disability. Intellectual disability is defined as low intelligence, determined by the use of IQ tests, with impairment in adaptive behavior. This condition must begin before the age of 18 in order for the person to be considered to be intellectually disabled. Some people with intellectual disability may have limited intellectual functioning, learn new things more slowly, have limited physical coordination, and have increased medical issues. Other developmental disabilities include autism spectrum disorder, Down syndrome, epilepsy, and cerebral palsy. Some people with cerebral palsy, epilepsy, or autism spectrum disorder may not be considered developmentally disabled. This is because if the individual was diagnosed with one of these disorders, but not an intellectual disability, and the disability is not considered to have created a substantial handicap, then it cannot be considered a developmental disability. Quote from Robert M. Hansel: "The greatest disability is the inability to see a person as more. As a caregiver, you have taken on an important role in the lives of residents living in adult foster care homes because you do see each person as more. Developmentally disabled residents often require a lot of assistance. Being a caregiver is hard work physically and emotionally. Though it is the caregiver's job duty to help with daily living activities, the caregiver also has the responsibility to provide the resident with emotional support as they navigate their disability. Let's take a look at some of a caregiver's possible duties, characteristics, and roles in interacting with residents with developmental disabilities. Duties: assistance with moving around the house, cooking and meal preparation, serving and feeding, light cleaning and housekeeping, laundry, providing medication reminders and medication administration, bathing and grooming, assistance with getting dressed, transportation assistance to doctor's appointments, and providing companionship. Characteristics a caregiver possesses while working with residents with developmental disabilities may include a positive, cheerful disposition, empathetic, kind, and helpful, patient, understanding, energetic, engaging, and willing to try new things with residents, organized but flexible, peaceful, passionate, and much more. While working with residents with developmental disabilities, a caregiver's role may include discussing the residents' daily activities, discussing with residents about activity choices instead of choosing for them, or speaking with their family, developing a daily routine such as an exercise program, setting goals with the resident to facilitate their own person-centered planning, providing structure and keeping a schedule. Interaction is the key. As a caregiver, you may work with a resident's healthcare team and mental health professionals. You may advocate on a resident's behalf and work with residents on issues such as anger management, suicide prevention, anxiety management, and medication management. Helping your residents to not feel helpless can be a difficult task in some situations, but it is by no means impossible. As a caregiver, you will develop a closer relationship with your residents, and you will be able to better understand specifically what each one needs over time. There are many ways to help a resident feel and become more empowered. These are just a few. Emphasize strengths, not weaknesses. Your main goal should be to help the resident discover their strengths and what they can do, rather than what they cannot do. It's important to give positive feedback when a resident does something independently. Allow and encourage the resident to answer questions about themselves and to speak on their own behalf whenever possible. Set reasonable development, independence-related milestones, and celebrate when they are reached. Encourage residents to perform tasks independently when safe and appropriate. Use supportive language like, "You can do it," to show that you will not give up on them and that you will support them. Encourage residents to socialize with other individuals in similar and different situations as they are. Follow your agency protocol when giving residents information about their situation and about your actions in supporting them whenever possible. Providing information rather than keeping it from the person will help them feel more involved. Individuals with developmental disabilities may have speech and communication limitations and not be able to verbally express what they want, need, or are feeling. Let's look at a few examples. Adults with autism may not be able to communicate triggers causing anxiety. More anxiety attacks result in acting out. Adults with Down syndrome may not verbally express signs of sadness or depression. Instead, they may become more irritable, get into arguments with others, and not want to socialize with roommates. Things may stress them out more often. Anger outbursts in adults with cerebral palsy are a common occurrence, often stemming from damage to the brain's basal ganglia, a region responsible for controlling emotions and motor functions, which can lead to difficulty regulating anger and other emotions. This can be further exacerbated by feelings of frustration due to physical limitations, pain, and social challenges associated with the condition. Adults with intellectual disabilities may not be able to verbally express feelings, wants, or needs, may display tantrums, and be uncooperative. Residents with developmental disabilities are routine-driven, and any change, no matter how small, could be the trigger for an outburst. As a caregiver, you may need to be more involved in interpreting an individual's needs and reactions to situations. Here are a couple of tips adapted from familydoctor.org. Always follow your agency protocol, as these are merely suggestions. Keep a health journal to help recognize changes in demeanor associated with prescription or dosage changes and noticeable medication side effects. Has there been a schedule change or other disruptions? Note any changes in the resident's daily routine. Exercise class canceled or a change in meal service. Tuesday is usually pizza, but today fish was served. Small changes can have a big effect on the resident's demeanor. Note any changes in staff or healthcare that usually interact with the resident. A primary staff person may be out sick or on vacation. The resident may act out in response to the change. Share changes you observe with your administrator, family members, or healthcare providers as appropriate. The language and communication skills of each person in your care is unique. Your job as a caregiver is to learn how to communicate with each of your residents effectively. Here are some tips. Simplify communication. Use simple sentences, gestures, sign language, or language boards to convey one task at a time. Avoid jargon. Use words, gestures, sign language, or picture communication boards the resident understands. Use concrete language. Use words like show me, do this, or tell me, along with gestures to convey your message. Avoid abstract language, for example, are you upset? Do not shout. Keep communication calm and clear. Shouting can cause unnecessary tension and anxiety. Use active listening skills. Eye contact, affirmation, nonverbal cues, and allow time for the resident to respond. Give clear explanations. Give words and demonstrate. Say, I am going to brush your hair, while gesturing on yourself brushing your hair. Ensure understanding. If the resident can speak, ask to repeat what was said or what is going to happen. If he or she cannot speak, use sign, gestures, or language boards to ensure understanding. Avoid interrupting or finishing sentences. By not interrupting the resident, you are showing the resident you care and respect him or her. Ask for clarification. If you don't understand the resident, ask, and if verbal communication is not working, ask for gestures or draw. Complete one topic before moving on. Make sure there is understanding, or the task is complete before moving on or to another task or topic. Each resident has feelings, dreams, and goals. You can help them feel like a productive part of society by researching resources and programs in your community. Also talk with the residents' loved ones and/or their doctor to find local resources and get them involved to help the residents in your care get the social services they need to have a meaningful life in your community. Spending time on enjoyable activities can positively impact a resident's mental health and overall well-being. Studies have shown that individuals who engage in hobbies regularly experience less stress, improved mood, and reduced symptoms of depression. Activities that get a resident out and about can make them happier and more relaxed. And the extra bonus of group activities is they can improve communication skills and relationships with others. They can also help build social, emotional, and physical skills, such as encourage time out or me time, declutter the mind, improve health, broaden life experiences, and increase social interactions. No matter their passions, there are hobbies available to suit all individuals regardless of their ability level. Most adult foster care homes who care for residents with a developmental disability have a certification of specialized programs to provide services to the developmentally disabled population. Each resident in an adult foster care home with a special certification will have a responsible agency who, along with the resident, will ensure the implementation of the resident's individualized plan of service. The plan will establish meaningful and measurable goals for the resident. It will specify the personal support services or other supports that are to be developed with and provided for the resident. As a caregiver, you play a large role in ensuring the residents' individual plans of services are implemented. Thank you for joining me today to discuss interacting with individuals with developmental disabilities. Interaction is important to the well-being of each individual in your care. The suggested activities plus other ideas can be adapted to fit your residents' needs in the home or the community. To complete the quiz that goes with this presentation, click on the link located in the information box below this video. See you soon!